All right, guys, I've been chomping at the bit to tell you this story because this one is special. Look at this in the Hill. Minnesota bill labels Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. A mental illness. Now, let me point out, when most people refer to Trump derangement syndrome, as you all know, what they're saying is people who are opposed to Trump exhibit Trump derangement syndrome because they can't ever give him credit for anything, and they're always so over the top with their criticism, and they have their laundry list of shit that they say. Now, I submit to you, the real Trump derangement syndrome are the cultists, are the people in the fascist MAGA cult who have never disagreed with Trump ever, and they say the dumbest things, they believe the dumbest things, they say things like he's pro-worker and he's anti-war, even though he's anti-worker and he's pro-war, right? And so they're the real folks with Trump derangement syndrome. Now, having said that, we're not going to be able to wrestle back that term, right? We're just not. Because they're so committed to it, they've been screaming it for so long that to do the old switcheroo and the jujitsu move, I don't think that's going to work. So instead, what my reaction is, the way you guys mean Trump derangement syndrome, yes, we all have it, and yes, it's called common sense. Yes, I'm going to absolutely despise and resist with every fiber of my being the fucking asshole who's trying to cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Yes, I'm going to go after the people who cut pediatric cancer research and fired flight safety officials as flights were falling out of the fucking sky. Yes, I'm against the guy who's warmongering with Panama and Greenland and Denmark and Mexico and Iran and bombing Yemen and bombing Somalia and bragging about it. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm as against him as you could possibly be. He's not doing anything good. And that's factual. So that's more my stance on it is like, actually, Trump derangement syndrome is common sense. If you have it, you're correct. Okay? So anyway, they proposed this bill. So we have to classify this as a mental illness. A bill introduced in Minnesota seeks to revise state law to include Trump derangement syndrome as a form of mental illness. By the way, of course, they have nothing more important to work on, as you know. Which, to be fair, the state of Minnesota is run by Tim Walz, who has the best record of any governor in the country. He's a Democrat. And so maybe they don't have anything to work. They have paid family leave when many other states don't have paid family leave. They have higher wages when many other states don't. So Tim Walz's success with a one-seat majority does give them a little bit of free time, doesn't it? The bill introduced by 5 Republican state senators would add the syndrome, TDS, as President Trump and his supporters frequently refer to it, to the state's definition of mental illness. The bill defines TDS as the acute onset of paranoia in otherwise normal persons that is in reaction to the policies and presidencies of President Donald J. Trump. Again, the thing I love about this is all the people who have so-called TDS, they will give you 30 policies that they despise about Trump. They will tell you in immense ideological detail and empirical detail, here's why he's horrible. Whereas the people who love Trump, what do they have? Nothing. They have fucking slogans. Oh, make America great again. Drain the swamp. Really drain the swamp? That's why he signed an executive order on day one to get rid of all the anti-corruption rules for everybody in his cabinet, right? That's draining the swamp? No, bitch. That's filling the swamp. He got rid of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act to allow bribery. The guy is the swamp creature. So they have no substance. We have all the substance. They continue. Symptoms may include Trump-induced general hysteria, which produces an inability to distinguish between legitimate policy differences and signs of psychic pathology. Psychic? I think, were they supposed to say psychotic? Are they trying to say psychotic? In President Donald J. Trump's behavior. The legislation specifies that TDS can be expressed by verbal expressions and intense hostility. No, intense hostility is the correct reaction to somebody who's destroying our country and doesn't even believe in the fucking rule of law. Deporting people that he claims are gang members, zero fucking evidence they're gang members. Some of them haven't even committed a crime. Deporting them with no due process and sending them to a fucking gulag in El Salvador. Yeah, you should have intense hostility. That's the correct reaction. Overt acts of aggression and violence against Trump supporters. Nobody's fucking doing that. Or against anything that symbolizes President Donald J. Trump. The president has long invoked the fabricated diagnosis as a way to label his political opponents as mentally ill when they criticize him or express outrage in response to the actions he takes. Trump has labeled many of his fiercest opponents, blah, 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 TDS. Anyway, so they go on and list the 5 Republicans who proposed this. God, I have such an amazing update for you on this story. Ready? So they proposed this. Minnesota State Senator Justin Eichorn, jailed for allegedly soliciting teen for sex. That's reported by the Minnesota Star Tribune. Who is this guy? Justin Eichorn? The alleged incident here came the same day this lawmaker introduced a bill to make Trump derangement syndrome a recognized form of mental illness. Homie spends a day smearing all of the critics of Donald Trump, Oh, you just have mental illness, bro. I'm triggering the libs, bro. And then he goes to diddle kids afterwards. And we have the problem? We're the ones with the problem? We're the ones who have an issue? No, we're the ones who are following what's going on and reacting accordingly, as any sane person would if you have a fucking shred of humanity and decency and morality and reason left in you. But virtue signaling about they're the bad guys and we're the good guys, bro. Anyway, where are the kids? I need to diddle them. Lock them up and throw away the key. After due process, of course, because we believe in that, unlike you monsters. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.